Welcome to day 5 of the 12 days of Sinmas. Usually, I start off my Sinmas videos by giving you, my sinners, a gift each day, just like in the song 12 Days of Christmas. However, today's a little different because your gift for day 5 is actually a secret, which is actually fitting because today I will be reacting to your secrets and confessions. A few days ago, I asked you all on my community tab and on my Twitter to send me your biggest secrets and confessions. I only kept up with it for the first hour or two, but since then I have gotten over 1,100 responses. And after going through just a few of the confessions, holy shit, you guys are mentally ill. So am I, so who am I to judge? I did read and go through the secrets for the first couple hours or so, but after a while I couldn't keep track of them just because so many were coming in at once. For example, just a few short minutes after posting the Google form, someone said, I use an electric toothbrush as a vibrator. May I ask which end? I sincerely hope it's not the bristle end because that sounds like it would hurt. And is this your personal electric toothbrush? Like, do you use it to, diddle your fiddle and then flip it around and brush your teeth and go to bed? Is it someone else's electric toothbrush? Or did you buy this electric toothbrush solely for the purpose of jacking off? You do you, I guess. So since there are over 1,000 responses and I can't possibly go through them all in this video, I'm just gonna type in random numbers and see what pops up. First, we're gonna do my birthday. So it would be 8/14. So this person said, sometimes if I leave the dinner table early, I go upstairs to see what my brother is doing on his laptop, and one time his friends sent him an explicit miraculous ladybug picture. It's haunted me ever since. Okay, wait, what is miraculous ladybug? All right. Not the dog. Not the dog. I think there's porn for anything and everything on the internet. All right, what's another number? 236? In my free time, I like to read gay Ben Shapiro smut on AO3. I'm not religious, but please go find Jesus. I am begging you. I mean, I guess I was right though. Like, there is erotica for everything and anything on the internet. Actually, I have a confession to make as well before we continue. So a few nights ago, I went out to eat with a friend. We went to Olive Garden, and somehow the topic of fan fiction came up, and I found myself on AO3, and I was like, let me put this to the test. So I started typing in like random characters and stuff like that into the search bar, and one of my searches was Tom and Jerry. Long story short, I read a Tom and Jerry abortion fan fiction in the middle of an Olive Garden. I'm not proud of it.
Welcome to Olive Garden.
And for some reason, the author of this fan fiction made Jerry a girl, even though Tom and Jerry are both boys in the original cartoon. So God forbid two boys wind up together. But it's fine to make a mouse have a forced abortion, I guess. All right, let's type in a different number. We have to. When we were in middle school, a friend and I were in a PE class. She had left to the bathroom. She comes back horrified. I asked what was wrong, and she just wouldn't tell me. Eventually, I was able to figure out that she walked by the boys' bathroom and saw this kid's penis. There are two main suspects as to whose penis it was, but to this day, she refuses to say. I mean, I don't blame her. I would try to block that image out of my memory if I was her. All right, now we'll check a different number. We have to. This one's a long one, so I hope you're ready. Not really a dark secret, but when I was in elementary school, I was friends with a manipulative girl who cut me off from my friend group and left me friendless for years. In middle school, I became online friends with two men who more or less fought for my attention. I was 12, they were about 15 and 18 respectively, yikes, trying to date me. One of them was a more long-term friend who guilt-tripped me anytime I got friendly with anyone other than him, so I felt like I wasn't allowed to have other friends and felt reliant on him. When I was about 13, I had an online friend group that put a lot of strain on my mental health. We would all vent to each other when we needed, which went into darker territory sometimes, and I felt like I was responsible for their health and safety, gaining a savior complex, and now I can't stand making the tiniest mistake when interacting with people. Moral of the story is monitor your kids' internet access and make sure their friends are someone trustworthy. Having my first healthy relationship in literal years has been so eye-opening to learning how all my habits from past friendships weren't actually normal friend things. Like, it's not normal to blow up at your friend for making other friends or replying 1 minute too late. Yeah, you are 100% right. And I'm so sorry you were in that situation. And I'm very glad that it seems that you're not in that situation anymore and you've cut those people out of your life. But yeah, I would 100% agree with you. You know, as corny and as much of a boomer as I sound right now, you really don't know who you're talking to on the internet most of the time. And I'm saying this as someone who definitely talked to some shady people on Kick in high school. I feel like that's a universal experience for every teenager growing up in the mid 2010s. To all the youngins who are watching me, if you are a teenager and you are on the internet, please be careful of who you're talking to. Make sure to trust your gut instinct, because if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. All right, next number, we'll do 777. Lucky number 7. Okay. I hate surprises. Recently realized why. My childhood babysitter kept surprising me. Examples are baking she drank bleach and blaming me for not loving her enough. Then ran out spraying me, I think is what they're saying, with the water/bleach solution while I cried and she laughed. Can't bleach like burn your skin? Number 2. Claiming her boyfriend was going to kill me because she loved me more than she loved him. I was made to sit at a window and watch through a thunderstorm to see if he came so she and I could die together. What? Also learned years later she tried to break up my parents by accusing my dad of trying to make a move on her. Tried to call after she got fired to talk to me. I was like 6 to 8 at the time. No reason she needed to talk to be alone. She was overall physically and mentally abusive. LOL, that's my trauma dump. Wow. What is it with people being weird with children? Can we stop doing that? Fucking hot take of the day. I'm so sorry you had to go through that, like genuinely, like, oh my God. Can't believe I didn't do this one sooner. We'll do 666. When I was 11, I got so mad at my mom that I decided I had to make her day worse in some way. So in my brilliant kid brain, I came up with this genius plan. I pissed in my mom's room right next to her bed and locked the dog in there to blame her. She still doesn't know it was me. Oh, why'd you have to frame the dog? The dog didn't deserve that. Oh, that made me feel icky. 654. Fellow peeps with Asian parents might relate, but my mom has never shown me any affection, and praise was considered kind of taboo. This had a big impact on my mental health as a kid, and I once asked my mom if she would be sad if I died. She yelled at me for asking such a ridiculous question. I realized then that I would never feel like enough for her, and always thought how nobody could possibly love me if my own mother can't. I moved out when I was 17 and have been working on closing these old wounds for several years. I am now happily partnered and feel more love than ever. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Everyone is deserving of love. Mic drop. I am so glad that you moved out, you have gotten out of such a toxic situation and found hopefully a partner that is good for you and shows you all the love you deserve. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. As cheesy as that sounds, everything is temporary in life, the good and the bad. Oh God. Okay, so for a lesser non-serious answer, when I was around 5 to 7, all the bathrooms in our house, so naturally, okay, I took all the toys out of one of my Polly Pocket baskets and took a massive shit in it, like the wettest, most earth-shattering. Okay. Like the wettest, most earth-shattering, ground-shaking dump. Oh, and yeah, my dad has schizophrenia and has delusions of us getting married in heaven. Ground-shaking? Really? Woo! I don't know which part I'm more horrified by. I mean, I hope you're not still doing that to this day. I'm sure you turned out normal. Not a confession, but whoever sees this has a good day. Boo! Boo, give me the tea. I'm nosy. None of this feel-good, wholesome shit. Get out of here. 862. I killed my rapist. I made it look like a drug overdose. He was a piece of shit addict, so no one thought twice about how he died. I wish I could have done something more violent to him without getting caught. He fucking deserved it. I'm glad you didn't give away any information because legally I don't want to get sued, but good for you. I'm very happy for you. We can only hope that all rapists experience the same ending. I think Taylor Swift sucks. Gasp. Sure, she's a talented songwriter, but all her songs sound the same. To me, she appears hollow and formulaic, not my kind of vibe. You're probably gonna get shit on in the comments of this video just because I know the Swifties are very headstrong about defending their queen, but honestly, y'all need to stop booing this person because they're right. Taylor has some bops. Taylor has some good songs, don't get me wrong. Like, Lover is good. A lot of her classic songs are always fun too when they come on at like a party party or on shuffle on Spotify or something, but this person really nailed it on the head, in my opinion. And that is just my opinion, so Swifties, please do not dox me. When people ask when was the last time you peed yourself, I always lie and say it was when I was really young, so I don't remember. I actually do remember. I was at a sleepover and everyone was asleep, but I woke up and my stomach hurt really bad. I had some fucked up undiagnosed anxiety disorders at the time, and I was really scared of bad things happening to my body. So instead of going to the bathroom like any logical person would, I fell into a weird panic attack. I also felt really bad and did not want to wake anyone up to call my mom. To make a long story short, I peed myself on my fucking sleeping bag and then just kind of rolled it up and changed my clothes. To be honest, I felt much better after it. I never told anyone that this happened. I made sure nothing in this person's house had pee on it. I promise it was just my own stuff. At least you were responsible about it. I hope you're in a better place now. I hope you were able to find coping techniques that worked for you to help you calm yourself, relax yourself. But yeah, it sounds like you had a wet and cold night. I'm so sorry. I remember I went to a sleepover once when I was in middle school, and we were sleeping in my friend's basement, and she had a bunny, and the entire basement smelled like rabbit shit, and I had to sleep in that environment. Now that's just me trauma dumping on you. I've been in a relationship for the past 4 years, and I'm considering ending things solely for the fact that we maybe once a month, and that's only after I've reminded her it's been that long. I can understand having different sex drives when you're in a relationship and how frustrating that might be. I would say before ending things, I mean, I'm not sure if you have, because I mean, this is only a short confession. I don't know the context of your relationship, but definitely have a serious talk with your partner about, you know, your needs in the bedroom, and maybe there is something a lot deeper going on that she hasn't shared with you. I can understand why you would be frustrated about that, but yeah, communication is always key in this situation. Hopefully this is something that you're able to work out with her. However, if this is a situation that doesn't improve even after tons of communication, then it probably is best to cut the cord. Even though I feel guilty about it, I want to be the other woman for my married coworker. Do not be a homewrecker. Don't do it, sweetie. I literally can't say this enough. You do not want to be the other woman. I understand, you know, maybe the attraction's there, at least on your end. I don't know if it's reciprocated or not. You don't want to be caught in the middle of a married couple. I don't know who you are, mystery person, but I would definitely advise you to move on and seek someone else, preferably someone who is not married. My biggest secret is that I had cheated on my partner with my best friend, but I didn't realize I did until 4 years later. How do you not know that you cheated on your partner? I'm very confused. I can't tell, was it physical or emotional? Because I feel like physical, you would know if you physically cheated on your partner. Did you accidentally emotionally cheat on your partner? Well, don't do that again. We'll do 541. I don't know why that number's sticking out to me. When I was in 7th grade, I was just figuring out I'm queer, and I had a huge crush on my best friend. It lasted until like 11th grade. We're 25 now, and I've thought about telling her multiple times, but she's engaged and very straight, and she has absolutely no idea. I don't really see a point in bringing it up now, though, since the crush ended years ago. Also, none of my family knows that I have a consultation for a tubal ligation surgery coming up. What is a tubal ligation surgery? Is that getting your tubes tied? Let's find out. Oh, okay. So I was right. It is getting your tubes tied. Well, to address the second part of your confession, as long as it's something you have thought about long and hard, did all your research, and are going to a good doctor, I don't see why you shouldn't get the surgery. But regarding the first part of you crushing on your straight best friend, I don't know if it's the best idea to tell her just because you have moved on and she's getting married. I feel like it has potential to turn into a messy situation. It's always very hard when it comes to romantic feelings and friends. If your friend wasn't engaged, I would feel less hesitant advising you to tell her or not, but I think purely because of the engagement, it's probably not best because you don't want to make waves when it's not necessary, especially since the crush ended a while ago, like you said. I don't know, feel free to weigh in on the comments. Obviously, if you're the person who sent in this confession, please do not out yourself, at least publicly. You can feel free to DM me. I won't tell anyone. Someone just sent in a confession now, so let's see what they had to say. I can't sleep unless I pretend there's someone next to me hugging and telling me that they love me and everything will be okay. That's sad. Oh, I wish I can give you a hug right now, OP. I feel like you really need it. I'm sending you my love. Sending you my love and support, bestie. Oh, get a pregnancy pillow or a weighted blanket. That's my recommendation for you. I have a weighted blanket. It's nice. It's very nice. I've had a couple of ex-friends, literally a couple, like dating, confess to me that they wanted to have a threesome with my boyfriend while I was dating him. I'm not into polyamory, so I immediately cut them out of my life, and I haven't completely recovered mentally from it. My boyfriend still talks to them, and I'm usually living in fear that he will leave me for them at any given moment. He's told me that he only loves me and that he doesn't want to be with anyone else, but he is still friends with them despite explaining my concerns. Love your videos though, and hope you have a great day. Hope you're having a great day too, bestie. I'm not personally polyamorous. My partner and I have always been monogamous, but if that is something you're into, that is totally fine as long as everybody's consenting. But this person was not consenting, which is why the threesome never happened, especially since I assume that you, the person who sent this in, have expressed your discomfort with these people several times. Just based on the information you gave me, I do think it is disrespectful that your boyfriend is still talking to those people, and I understand your fear. I don't know why this is turning into like an advice column video. I hope I'm not overstepping anything. I can understand why you would be uncomfortable. I would personally feel very uncomfortable if my partner and I were in the same situation. I'm not going to offer any solid advice one way or another because I don't want to be responsible for a breakup, but I hope your boyfriend listens to your needs and concerns, or if not, I hope you find someone who does. 357. I've been lying to a clergy in the cult I was born into for 5 years. I also came out to him as gay, and he told me that I would probably feel different later on, and that if I choose to follow the gay path, we would talk about that later. Yikes. I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you're a minor or whatnot. I hope as soon as you reach of age or are in a position to leave, get out of that cult immediately. Because I would not trust these people to confide into about being gay, especially if this is a religious cult. Sending you my love and good vibes. A guy broke up with me because I sent him the smutty fanfic I wrote about us. Listen, you do you. I'm not here to kink shame, but I would be a little weirded out if someone did that for me. With peace and love, of course, to you. Yikes. So I'm going to read 3 more secrets from y'all, and then I'm going to end the video, so I hope they're good. 101, like Zoe 101. When I was in sophomore year of high school, I developed a weak bladder and I tend to whiz when I laugh. So one day I laughed too hard and I went to the bathroom and tried to dry my underwear by sucking the whiz out of it, yes, with my mouth, and then rubbing it clean with toilet water so that way it didn't stink so bad. Yeah, not one of my proudest moments. I've never heard of someone using toilet water to make something cleaner. Wow. That's all I have to say to that. But it's okay, we've all done questionable things in our lives. Some more questionable than others, but hey. What is it with all these people defecating themselves? Okay. One time I was watching a parade downtown in the small town I lived in, and I shit my pants. So I just left without alerting anyone, but I had walked there, so I had to walk back home. And on that day, I felt that I had to shit more. There were no restrooms nearby, so I stopped in a public park, broad daylight, and shit into a trash can, not an open trash can. I had to hold the swinging lid open, then I had to continue walking. I stopped at a fancy grocery store to clean myself up as much as I could and continued walking home. I was maybe 22 when this happened. I also pissed on the steps of my college because I was too nervous to pee while on a date. And once again, there were no public restrooms available on the way home, so I pulled over and peed on the college instead. All right. I know I said we were only going to do 3 more, but I'm going to do 2 more because I've had enough of the piss and shit confessions, and I want to read something different.
12 seconds later.
What is it with the poop? No, we're not reading that. OMG. So basically, I think I've been in love with one of my friends for like months now, and I don't really know what to do. Okay, this is the tea I came for. Okay, so since we became friends in March, we've always been like jokingly flirty, but it never really went that far. You know, mean lesbian and flirty non-binary shit. And that was all it was really. All I knew was that I was happy to be with them. But then I think something happened at a sleepover my friend group had near Halloween. Now they are a very physically affectionate person towards everyone, but at that sleepover, it was like a whole other level. Like they fell asleep in my arms, and I don't think we left each other's side that whole night. I mean, I'm not complaining about it. I just don't think spooning each other is a very just friends thing to do. I don't personally spoon with any of my friends. And since then, we've kind of just stayed the same. Like yesterday, me and my friends went out into a city not too far away from us, and on the bus ride back, I might have fallen asleep on their shoulder. They thought it was cute AF AF, but oh my god, I wanted to scream. All of my friends have started to notice too and keep asking about it too. Please, I need advice on the situation. Like, am I reading too much into this or am I gay for my friend because I think I am losing my mind? Oh my gosh, this feels like the story for every queer person. I mean, the spooning and falling asleep on each other, that does not sound like something just friends would do. I mean, I hope that this person likes you back because it seems like you guys really care about each other and I think you would be adorable together. Sharing romantic feelings for a friend is always a risk because you could possibly lose them. However, I would go for it. You don't just spoon your friend. Best of luck with that. And if things do work out, I want to officiate the wedding. Last but certainly not least, we have one more confession. This is so embarrassing to tell, but when I was 12 years old, I liked this guy who was like 18 or 19, and like the crazy bitch I was, I fucking followed him on Instagram and I told him I liked him. Dude, for real, I just hate myself for that. Like, imagine this little rat comes and confesses to you, poor man. And even worse, a friend of mine, before I embarrassed myself, confessed, showed him a pic of me and asked how much he would effing rate me. He said a 6, by the way. I'm just my worst error, I swear. I shall never forget this and live with the shame of my actions till the day I perish. Thanks for reading this if you did, and I hope I didn't cringe you to death. Love you and your vids. Why, thank you. That's very sweet. And you did not cringe me to death. You only cringed me just a tad. It sounds like an innocent little crush. I don't know if he knew your age or not, but I do find it weird that he did rate you. I just love how you called yourself a little rat. But you know what happens? We're all cringy when we're 12. I'm glad we ended on a somewhat light note though. I feel like I know some of you a lot more than I probably should, but that's okay. If you enjoyed me reading your biggest secrets, make sure to let me know down below. And if you would like your secret or confession to be featured in a potential part 2, I will leave the Google form to this in the description as well. And since we're on the topic of Google Forms, I have a second Google form linked in the description as always, where you can submit your potential video ideas. But thank you so much for watching day 5 of the 12 days of Sinmas. If you enjoyed, make sure to give this video a tiny thumbs up and subscribe down below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 6 of the 12 days of Sinmas. And I might be with a friend, so stay tuned for that. Bye!